Welcome back. I do apologise for that little faux pas. Takes me back to the days when I first started doing YouTubing and everything used to fall over and break down. And if I told you I'm blaming the cats because they knocked the Wi-Fi out off the sideboard, would you believe me? Well, it's true. They absolutely did. So I blame them, the little bastards. They should be fried. Anyway, thank you all for rejoining me. Good evening, Black Country. How are you? Ed, time to make a cuppa. I hope you've drunk it. I'm back. I'm back with aplomb. Apologies for that. These things happen. But I kind of saw the Wi-Fi flashing on the top of the screen, and I thought it's going to come back any minute now, and it didn't. So I do apologize. So thank you for coming back and for rejoining. Hostage again, pay the bills. Your show's getting better and exciting every show. What surprises you got next one? Well, I didn't expect to have that kind of surprise. Going back to the old days when nothing worked. Nothing worked. Right, okay. So I don't remember where I was. So I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the under 18. So I was saying the under 18s. They're in the semi-finals of the FA Youth Cup on the 6th of April at the London Stadium. It's the day after the Newcastle game. If you're around the area, why don't you go and support them? £5, £1 for juniors, etc., etc. So it's a great little game to be at, and they deserve to be supported. The first time we were in the competition was in 1957 when we lost. But we won our first Youth Cup in 1963 when we beat Liverpool in a 6-5 two-legged thriller. Then the next time we were back in the cup was in 1981, where we beat Spurs 2-1 with the likes of Bobby Barnes, Alan Dickens, and Paul Allen in that game. And then in 1999 was the last time we were in the final and the last time we won, when we beat Coventry on a 9-0 aggregate with the likes of Stephen Bywater, Adam Newton, Michael Carrick, and Joe Cole in the team. Now, we're playing either Man City or Arsenal in the final. Man City, league leaders of Premier League Under-18s North, and they're doing probably better than we are, to be quite honest with you. They are, after 20 games, they've won 15, drawn 3, lost 2, 72 goals for, 17 goals conceded, a massive 55 goal difference for them. They're favourites to beat Arsenal, and it looks like it's going to be likely, the final's likely to be against between the two best teams in the under-18s, the Premier League winners of under-18s, Premier League winners of the South, West Ham, against the Premier League under-18s, North winners, Man City. And the final is scheduled to be on the 29th of April. We might want to drown our sorrows by then with the April games coming up, which I'm going to talk about soon. So why don't you get down and support the under-18s in the semi-final? It'll be well worthwhile. £5 at the London Stadium. A couple of thousand fans supporting them will be really, really beneficial to them. So well done to them and good luck to them moving on. Like I said earlier on, they're only a point away from winning the under-18s league. Fulham can catch them up with two games advantage, but they're 18 points behind. So even if the under-18s don't win another game this season, and if Fulham win all their games, even the goal difference will give us the title. So well done to the under-18s. Right, what else have we got here? Black Country, Stills pumped that. I'm not going to read the rest of that. Take 2. Yeah, it was. Good evening to you, Moisaurus. Moy's football taxes were inspired by watching his pet hedgehog fend off a cat. 10 men. Good evening to you. Still Wi-Fi, make or break part 2. If it goes down again, that's it. I'll give up. Is it a lot better? Thank goodness for that. Thank you. Good evening, Buffalo. You missed all the excitement, Buffalo. This is part 2. God knows what's going to happen to part 1. People are going to go, what the was all that about? 8 Barley, good evening to you. There's no... Very funny. Graham, great time when I'm home from work now and drinking a Moosehead beer. There you go. You missed all the excitement, Graham. You know, apparently I was talking like a robot and in slow motion and God knows what else. Bill, sounds like Moy's blaming everyone except himself. Well, yeah, I'm going to talk about the Skamaka thing in a minute because it was bit weird. Mice Collective. Good evening to you. Haven't seen you for a while. Zuma is a one-man war against Cat, so to us, he's like a Rambo. Good evening, Jack. How are you, mate? Blame me on the pussy. I hope you're well. I'm back again, Hammerette. Thank you. Where is the final being played? You know what? I don't know. I don't know, Mark, where the final's being played for the under 18s, but I will find out, of course, and let you know. Jack, where is the final? Yeah, the final. Don't know, but I will find out and let you know. But we're semi-final. We are at the London Stadium, 6th of April, day after the Newcastle game. Go and support them for a fiver. I might make the trip down there. This is what makes this show so good. I don't know really if it does, but thank you, Hammerette. Final's going to be played in Prague. No, I don't think they're talking about the final for the Europa. We know that one. Good evening to you, usual. I hope you're well. I hope you all had a bit. Well, as I said earlier on, a banging weekend because we didn't play. But I know people are upset. They're expecting other teams to do us favours. As I said in part one, if we're expecting other teams to do us favours and stay out of the bottom three, then we deserve to go down because we should be good enough to get us out of the bottom three and get us climbing up that league table. Part one, Stel was eaten by the Matrix, beat the wife through the Wi-Fi and kicked the cat. Right, let's go to the next part of the show, shall we? Which is player. Right, someone asked me earlier on how Fabianski was doing. There you go. Fabianski's back. He's back training. We believe he'll be available for selection after the international break. But the question really is, to be quite honest with you, I look at a goalkeeper. If he was an outfield player and he was wearing a face mask, I'd say fine. But a goalkeeper wearing a face mask, how confident is he going to be going in for a 50-50 challenge or going up to try and collect the ball from a corner and things like that? It worries me. I think Fabianski's actually I think Fabianski's done really, really well this season. He's kind of even I've been a critic of his, saying that I think it's time for Fabianski to move aside and so on. But when I see a goalkeeper having to, and I know other people have said there are other goalies that have worn face masks, etc., and it shouldn't hinder them. I don't really know. I worry. I wonder if that will make Fabianski hesitant to go in at the feet of a player, to collect the ball, to go up for challenges, etc. I worry. But as people have said before, the minute Fabianski's fit, he'll be put straight back into the team, no matter what Alphonse Areola has done. And now I look at Areola and I look at how many games he's played. He's played 5 in total. He's conceded 8 goals, 3 against Man United, 4 against Brighton, and then the 1 against Aston Villa. And if I'm really honest, he's kept a couple of clean sheets in between, etc. And if I'm really honest, there's probably just the one goal in my mind that maybe Areola has been kind of culpable for. And that was the first goal against Man United when Agerd scored the own goal from the header. Maybe Areola should have commanded his box more. Maybe he should have just gone through. Didn't matter who was there and just punched the ball away or whatever. And he made the defender have to defend it, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. He should have been a bit more commanding. But other than that, can you really blame him for any of the goals that were scored against us at Brighton? We were terrible that day. You can't just pin that on Areola. And I felt sorry for him. 2 games in and he conceded 7 goals. And of course, everyone's going, that's why we have Fabianski. I'm not so sure Fabianski would have really done much better, to be honest with you. I think Areola's been decent. He's done some, even against Villa, pulled off some really decent saves. But you just know that Fabianski is going to be straight back in between the sticks when the international break is done and dusted. And I'm not so sure if that's the right thing. I don't know what sort of message that gives to Areola if Fabianski just walks straight back into the team. I think Areola has been good. I think he's probably enjoyed the 5 games he's played in a row. I think he's done well for us. But Let's see what happens. But Fabianski is back training, and it's quite likely Fabianski will be in goal for the next game against Southampton. Next up, spoke about him last week. Mikel Antonio has now missed the last couple of games because of an injury. Nothing too serious, a calf strain. We've been told that he's okay, but he has missed the game. I mean, didn't really expect him to play against AEK Larnaca last Thursday, but he did miss the game against Aston Villa as well. But we believe that he'll be available. He's not made it into the Jamaican squad, I believe. So he'll be available for the game against Southampton. I'm quite pleased. Not, you know, I respect every player that wants to play international football, but I'm quite pleased for us. At least he can focus on West Ham for the remainder of the season. But he's got to make his decision, Moyes. He's now got Skamaka, who came back. I think he did really well against AEK Larnaca, scored his goal, etc. He's got that decision to make. He's got Danny Ings, of course, that'll be wanting to start. And I think it's a good thing to actually have three different strikers, three different styles of play up front that Moyes can choose from. Who knows? Maybe even bring them together and play one or two at the same time. Vladimir Sufal. Now, here's an interesting one. We because of the heel injury he got, we were told that it's one of those injuries where he can be out for just a few weeks after rest, but he could be out even longer. It could be something that will take probably 6 months to heal, etc. However, he has been called into the Czech Republic squad. So it looks to me that if he's been called into the Czech Republic squad for the up-and-coming 2024 European Championship qualifiers, then it looks to me he should be available for the game against Southampton when we finish our international break. I hope so, because we've obviously had a bit of a tough time down that side of the field, haven't we? Right, what about some players on loan? Well, Arthur Masuaku took a step closer to becoming a permanent Besiktas player at the weekend, where he played the full 90 minutes in the club's 3-1 home win against Istanbulspor. That's his 23rd league appearance and 24th appearance in all competitions for the Turkish club. Apparently, the loan contract says it's got a clause in it saying if he makes 25 appearances, it will automatically trigger an automatic permanent move to the Turkish club. So 25 appearances. I don't know, as I said last week, whether that's 25 appearances in the league or 25 appearances in total. But basically, he's got one, perhaps two more games to play for the Turkish club, and he will then become a permanent signing for them. Nikola Vlasic is back after missing 5 games with hamstring injury for Torino. He played in the game against Napoli at the weekend, and Napoli smashed Torino 4-0. Much in demand striker Victor Osimhen grabbed a brace. Napoli are runaway league leaders in the Serie A, so on 71 points, with Lazio 19 points behind them. As for Torino, they're 10th in the league with 37 points and seem to be kind of losing the battle to qualify for Europe. By the way, for Masuaku, the win kept them in 3rd place in the Turkish league, 5 points behind second place Fenerbahce. So they're looking like they're going to make European football next season themselves. Connor Coventry kind of was in action at the weekend because the game did start between Rotherham and Cardiff, but it was called off just after half time because of a torrential downpour which waterlogged the pitch. So Cardiff at the time were 1-0 up, but the game had to be postponed and it'll be replayed very soon. Another player out on loan, Nathan Trott. He's on a very good winning streak, playing for Danish Division 1 league leaders, Vechel BK, where they beat Næstved BK 2-0 in an away game. Trott has played in all games since the return from winter break, and it's his 3rd clean sheet in 5 games. Well done to him. As I said earlier in the show, in part 1, we've got some fantastic young keepers, and Nathan Trott is doing really well. Okay, you're going to argue, well, it's a lowly league. It's Division 1. It's not even the Premier League of the Danish of Denmark. But nonetheless, he's doing well. He's getting game time, and he's actually doing extremely well. Another goalie is Brian Kinnear. Apparently, he's out on loan at the moment to Falkirk, but apparently West Ham United are not looking to extend his contract at the end of this season, and he'll be allowed to leave and find a new club. He played in the game against Queen of the South at the weekend, where they lost 1-0. That was Falkirk's second straight defeat, which has seen them drop away from league leaders Dunfermline, where there's now a 9-point gap between them. But Falkirk are comfortable in second place with 6 points ahead of Alloa Athletic with a game in hand. So there's a suggestion, like I said, that Brian Kinnear, even though he was sent out on loan for the remainder of the season, could be allowed to leave in total. Now, of course, as I've said, we've got players on international duty. We're entering a 2-week break, or we've entered a 2-week break, where a large number of West Ham players are going to be out on international duty. We start off with the under-17s, where Josh Briggs has been called into the Northern Ireland under-17 squad. Sensational striker Callum Marshall is joining Northern Ireland's under-19 squad. Ollie Scarles, remember him, is in the England under-18 squad. And Divine Mbama is going to join England's under-19 squad. Why do they have so many squads? I don't know. But anyway, he's joining the England under-19 squad. And Armstrong Oko Flex, remember him, is joining up with the Republic of Ireland under-21 squad. And goalie Christian Hegyi has been called into the senior Hungarian squad for the first time. Other players on loan, I mentioned already, Nikola Vlasic, he's in the Croatian squad, and Arthur Masuaku is back in the Democratic Republic of Congo squad as well. And what about our players in the senior team? Because we've got quite a number of them also out on international duty as well. Ben Johnson, he joins the England under-21 squad. Yeah, I know a lot of you are going to say, probably doesn't deserve it, but he's in. Thomas Souček and Vladimir Sufal in the Czech Republic squad. Naif Agurd has been called into the Moroccan squad. Tilo Kehrer in the German squad. Lucas Paqueta in the Brazilian squad. And Gianluca Scamacca. And earlier today, Emerson have been called into the Italian squad as well. Alphonse Areola has got a great chance to stake a claim as France's number one keeper now that Hugo Lloris has retired from international football. He's in the French squad. And last but no means least, Declan Rice is in the England squad. With a full-on list of fixtures coming up in April, I think the one thing that we're really going to be worried about is having all these players coming back fit and ready to go. And before we look ahead to that, it's going to be proved to be a massive month for West Ham. So not only have we got quite a number of important league games coming up in April, we've also got the last 8 Europa Conference League games against Ghent as well. But before we do that, let's jump into your chat, see what you have to say, and then we'll go and review briefly the AEK Larnaca game. Jonathan. Part 1, done that one. Sarah, thank you. Let's scroll down. Let's see. Good evening, NWO. How are you? Good for Halloween. Looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I have no idea what you're talking about, but welcome back. Epic. Fab superpower is getting to start over Areola. Yeah. What do you think of that? I mean, do you think it's right that Fabianski should come straight back in, or do you think Areola deserves to keep his place? Can we call Fabianski Zorro? Gary, good evening to you, mate. I think playing him would be a bit iffy, face mask, and that's what I think. That's my feeling. The phantom of the Fabianski. Debbie and Mark, you will just see a blonde blow-up doll whizzing in the background of the camera after popping out the cupboard. I don't know what you get up to in your household, but trust me, there's no... Oh, there it goes. Daniela, Fabianski auditioning for Phantom of the Opera at the London Stadium. Face orange, raised eyebrows. Mark Watson, still, do you think Moyes will use the international break to develop our attacking play? No. And do you think Scamacca will start against Southampton if he plays well for Italy? No again. No, I don't think he will. Well, all of his, Ings is there, I guess, and Antonio's there. Scamacca is out on international duty. I didn't mean that flippantly, but I just think Moyes has got a mindset. He knows what he's going to do regardless. And I guess that's the worrying thing. And I mentioned earlier, that he can change it around. I know it was a dead rubber against AEK Larnaca, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, but he played 2 up front then. and it did really well, didn't it? So, no, I don't think he will develop our attacking play. Do I think Scamacca will start against Southampton, even if he plays well for Italy? Unfortunately not. I don't think he will. I think what Moyes will probably do, he'll either go for Ings or Antonio, and then he'll bring Scamacca on. I kind of don't agree with that. Now you've got Scamacca smiling again and scoring a goal. I think, he deserves to be given a chance to see what he can do. But no, I don't think he will, Mark, to be honest. Usual. Unless the mask is made of iron, it's got to be madness to play him. I would worry. I would worry because, the first time that he is going to go in for a challenge, if he stalls, it's going to be very, very telling, isn't it? Hammerett. Ari hasn't been that great, in my opinion, as good as I thought he would have been. Areola, do you think so? Like I said, I think it was really unfortunate. We played 2 games against Man United. Like I said, definitely the goal, the own goal that we scored by Gerd. I think he should have called for that. Definitely. The other 2 goals, no, I'm not so sure. But then the 4 goals against Brighton, can you hold him to account for that? We were awful that day. I'm reading the comments, Black Country. Trust me. Who else we got? Usual suspects. Everton want Antonio if they survive relegation. Thank you, and bye-bye, and thanks for all you've done. Steve, still, you still say Antonio's a striker. Well, he isn't. I know he isn't, mate. But unfortunately, he's got the number 9 shirt, and he, that's where Moyes will play him. But I totally agree with you, Steve. I've never thought Antonio to be a striker, but in Moyes' eyes, he is. Hammerett. We are in desperate need of a goalie, a left back and a right back in the next window. Left back and right back, I'd say yes. Goalie, let's see what happens with the youngsters. We've got Trot coming back we've got Trot coming back. We've got Heggie, who's a very well thought of goalie. I know they're all young, but what are we going to do? Are we going to give Fabianski another year? He has got an option of another year and then piss off Areola and he'll leave. I think Areola, given a proper run, I think will be fine. That's a fresh pick of players Moyes can work his magic on and ruin. There's an awful lot of players that we're going to have to. There's an awful lot of positions that we're going to have to replace in next summer, and definitely left back, definitely right back. But there's other positions as well. I'm not so sure goalie is a desperate need to replace. I think, to be quite honest with you, I think Areola should be and can be a very decent number 1 for us. Moisaurus. Moyes will use the international break to watch his pet hedgehog and other defensive animals to develop more defensive tactics. Jack. No way will he play 2 strikers together. He did for half an hour in the game against AEK. Well, yeah. Well, I won't see that again, will we? You have confidence in Moyes then, Hammerett. 10 men. Antonio is in the trails for the Jamaica bobsledge team. In trials for the bobsledge team. Cockney. Antonio has been sussed. I'd go with something new like Mbama and Cornet or Ings with Scamacca. I like Ings. I like Cornet. I think he's going to bring something different for us. He's got speed, hasn't he? And he's been chomping at the bit. He could be a very, very important player for us for the rest of this season. Napoli are a fantastic team. They are storming it, aren't they? Torino, I don't think it matters who they play. They're scoring goals for fun. Napoli. Moisaurus. From now on, Moyes will recruit new players from the Olympics who will buy the 400 meters champion. Good evening, Rupert. I hope you're well. Been quiet lately, mate. I have been quiet because I've been procrastinating whether to go to Ghent or not because I don't think I'm going to get a ticket. And do I want to go out there and get pissed off sitting in a bar watching it? I'm going, mate. So, but I'll chat to you later about it. Gary. It would be nice to show Moyes the door before we totally get rid of Vlasic. I still think there could be a quality player there. Yeah, possibly. To be quite honest with you, Vlasic he had a decent start at Napoli. Not Napoli. He had a decent start at Torino. He's fallen away. All right, he's been injured as well, but he's kind of fallen away after having a decent start. Hammerett, at what point will Moyes think I better try something different to pick up some points here? Warring times ahead. Daniela Foxes. We win a cup and enter the Europa League next season and finish mid-table. I think we're all doing that, aren't we? We're all doing that. Jonathan. Tilo in the German squad. Germany losing again. As a fan, I'm not happy. I like Tilo Kehrer. I won't lie. I actually do like Tilo Kehrer. I think he has been caught out a little bit. I think some players find the Premier League a lot quicker than other leagues, even the German league, etc. I wonder after one season whether he'll settle and improve. I don't know. Steve, I think we all need a few beers before the Saints game. I think we're going to need quite a lot of beers before the Saints game. Jack, as Benrahma not in the international team, there must be some bloody good team to leave him out. The irony here, Jack, is even when he, excuse me, even when he is in his international team, he's usually on the bench. He doesn't always get to start. But they've got one or two decent players, haven't they? Usual suspect. Can Moyes get called up to the firing squad? Steve, Stel, come on, what's your blow-up doll name? We want to know. I'm not telling you. E. Davis, playing Ings over Scamacca is really sad. Listen, I think that's what he'll probably do, and he'll use. I personally, I think Scamacca and Paquetá have got a really good understanding. You could see it. You could even see it in the game against AEK the other night. They're kind of on the same wavelength, and I want to see that develop. And I'd like Scamacca to start. I want to be surprised by David Moyes and see Scamacca start, but unfortunately, I think he'll probably be on the bench. E. Davis, Scamacca should start. He gets involved so much more. I agree, totally agree. Gary, if Fabs would have let 7 by him, some would be really. Yeah, I agree with that. But I asked the question again: do you blame for those 7 goals scored against Man United and against Brighton? Do you blame the keeper or do you blame? Our performance was great against Man U, but do you blame against Brighton? Do you blame the keeper or do you blame the team for really, really poor defending? Chris, I feel more solid with Fab. However, Southampton will be a scrappy game. It won't be good for Fabianski. It's a good point, that. Yeah. And again, I asked that question. When it's a 50-50, what then? Moisaurus, Barack Obama is the future. Have you read his book, The Audacity of Saying No to the Dope? He wants people to live a healthy lifestyle. You're getting 2 people confused, aren't you? NWO, win the Euro and relegated the West Ham way. It's very possible. Good evening to you, John. I hope you're well. Great news for the Fulham game. No Mitrovic. Well, someone else said earlier in part 1 of the show, apparently Willian and Silva will only get 1 match bans. So they would probably both be available. But Mitrovic might be different. I think he might get a 3-game ban. Mark. It will be interesting to see if the 3 clubs in the bottom 9 who haven't changed their managers stay up. Said this earlier on as well. You know, we're one of 3 teams who haven't replaced our manager in the bottom half of the league. You know, and are the teams that have changed manager, are they actually doing any better? You know, we're still within 3 points of a team who are in 12th place, Crystal Palace. So are they actually doing any better? I don't know. It's interesting. I just don't know, to be quite honest with you. Would we have been better? Would we not have been better against with a new manager? We now will never know because we've got Moyes until the end of the season. And let's see what happens there. Hammer it. Firing squad, he'll probably let Antonio. Good point. NWO, Areola is flat more than once. See, it's interesting. I'm interested to know what you think because I've been kind of singing the man's praises, and you know, it was disappointing that, you know, when he came in, the 3 goals against Man U, blah 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 blah. But I think with a good run, would he not get better? I don't know. Hammerette, loads think of Benny to Italy recently. Loads of links of Benny. Oh, you know what? Yeah, there are loads of stories, continuous stories about Scamacca going back to Italy, Benrahma going to Italy, Declan Rice going to every single team in the Premier League apart from West Ham. You know, the reason why I'm not talking about any potential transfer rumours is because we don't yet know what league we're going to be in, because that's going to be really, really telling. Next season, but at the end of this season, when we know what league we're playing in, then we can start talking about transfers, who might leave, who might stay, etc. And we'll have a much clearer picture. Right now, the rumours is because there's nothing else to talk about. How many times have we heard about Declan's going to Arsenal. I know he's not. Chelsea are going to come in. Oh, hang on a minute. He's dead cert to go to Arsenal, etc., etc. And the irony is, as the club keeps saying, we've received no bids for him. No one's bid for any of our players at this moment in time. Well, it's out of transfer window anyway. But there's nothing else to talk about. Benny going to Italy? Who knows? Let's see. Brian, if we win Europa and avoid relegation, will Moyes get West Ham legend status years from now? Isn't that an interesting one? Because there is another manager that did something similar, and he was called John Lyall. Relegated, won a cup, etc. And he was revered, wasn't he? And I know what people are saying. Oh, yeah, but he played with much more flair. I remember games way back then which were pretty turgid. But it's quite interesting, isn't it? You got a good point there, Brian. If we win the Europa League under David Moyes and we avoid relegation, what will the fans think of him then? How would they look upon him? Let's be honest. We shouldn't be down there. We shouldn't be down in the relegation zone regardless. That is a absolute. But if we do win the Europa, and if we do avoid relegation, you're absolutely right. How will he be looked at in years to come? Maybe straight after it will still be Moyes out, possibly. But in years to come, in 5-10 years' time or whatever, what we'll see in the record books is the last winner of a European trophy for West Ham United, David Moyes. And then what? It's a really good question, actually. Moyes-Oris. If Moyes remains, anyone with any skill, any kind of brain will leave to be replaced by a running brain-dead robot with no skills. It's really horrible to talk about Souček like that, mate. John McCarthy. Mitrovic will get 3 months. 3 months? Like Di Canio? Wow. The ref said he was elbowed. I didn't see an elbow. Did you? Wow. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a 3-game ban. E. Davis, Areola has to be number one for the sake of the squad's morale. But what about the sake of the players' morale as well? From my understanding, he was promised to be the number one goalie. And then Moyes did what Moyes does. He went back with Fabianski, went with his favourites. Good evening, John. How are you? Thank you for joining. How much do you think Benrahma will go for, Sharky? He's got a couple of years left on his contract. If he's sold, probably 23, 24 million, give or take. Jonathan, all the teams who change manager have points, making it tight at the bottom. Those who have not are still up and down. So if we did change, would have been a few points better off. Possibly. Never, don't know. Steve, in my opinion, Saints, Bournemouth and Forest to drop. Who do you think will go in your opinion? I think Bournemouth will go. Southampton, they're going to fight tooth and nail to stay up. Will it be enough for them? I don't know. I agree with Forest. There's the possibility of Palace. They haven't won a game now for a dozen games, or give or take. And you always see a team that starts to just nosedive. And Palace could be one of those teams. They got a good squad, and it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if they've named their new manager yet or not. But it's going to be interesting to see who they bring in to manage that team and see whether he can get the best out of them. They've got a very, very decent squad, Palace, and I'm surprised they haven't done better. But then you can say the same thing for our squad, a much better squad, and I'm surprised we haven't done better. Forest possibly, Bournemouth possibly, and if it isn't Southampton, it could be a team like Palace. Matt, better mate than never. Good evening, sir. I'm on nights, but we have to beat Southampton, like most in the Premier League. Played 41-19. Please, West Ham gods, let's make it 20 wins and push on. So we've beaten them 19 times so far. We've got to beat them. I think they're a team there for the taking. We've really got to be on the front foot against them. We're at home. We've got to start winning some games at home, haven't we? A draw is all right, but it's not good enough. Good evening, Alfie. How are you? Thank you very much for the Tottenham fan. Listen, I'll be honest with you. We do welcome fans from other teams here, so long as you're polite. But if you're not, we'll just kick you out. Simple as that. Foxes, Stell, have you tried turning it on and off? Turning what on and off? Chris Green, how are you? I've always said I'd take us finishing 17th and winning a cup. It could very well happen. What did I do earlier on? There you go. John, and by the way, Alfie, I think your manager thinks you're shit too, by the way. Jonathan, Moyes will be revered, depends on his exit and how soon after that trophy he goes. Okay, here's my theory. David Moyes wants to win a cup before he retires. He sees West Ham United as the last opportunity, and especially the Europa Conference as possibly the last opportunity to win a trophy. He might well turn around and go, I've won, I'm gonna leave now. Or he might be arrogant enough to go, I've won, that's why I'm here, and I'll stay for another season. Adam, how many points do you think we need to stay up? 39. I think we still need another 5 wins in order to stay up. We're on 24, 23 now. We need another 5 wins, give or take, to stay up. You've said the same. 5 wins, some draws, 40 points will be enough. 39 points will be enough for me. Can we do it? Southampton, Leeds, Bournemouth, Palace, they're all huge games, but we can't rely on trying to win just those games. We've got to eventually take 3 points off. Look, we did it last season. We beat Liverpool at home. Last season, we beat, who else did we beat? Chelsea at home last season. I know we've got quite a number of big games coming up, but we've got to start thinking that we can beat 1 or 2 of these teams. Graham, Areola's the future, so let him ride it out. With more playing time, he will get better. I'm inclined to agree. Ama, good evening to you. Antonio to Everton at 33. I'd let him go. I'd drive him there. Hammerette, I feel like others' results are more important at the tail end of the season rather than ours because I can't see us having a major turnaround. We beat Saints and I'll be excited again. I agree. And someone said earlier on about if we don't beat Southampton, we could get relegated. That would be disastrous. I think it might be right. If we can't get a positive win against Southampton at home in our first game back after the international break, I'd be extremely worried. Jack, do you think Lanzini will go at the end of the season? I do. I think there'll be a clear out for a number of players who are either at the end of their contracts and not being renewed or extended. Lanzini is one of them, or players in their 30s. We've got Ogbonna, love him. There's talk about maybe giving him another year. He's been fantastic for us. But then we've got Fabianski. Do we give him another year? We've got Antonio. He's in 33, etc. How many more years can we keep these players who are well into their 30s? Some age well. I think Ogbonna has done fantastic for us. Lanzini, I like Lanzini. But is it time to sort of freshen it up in midfield and let him go? He's been fantastic for us, but the injuries have taken their toll. So, yeah, I actually do think he'll probably go. Ted, Leeds looked awful under Marsh, but since hiring Xavi Gracia, they looked a different side entirely. Yeah, they're fighting, aren't they? They're back and they're fighting. Moisaurus, if Moyes wins the conference and survives, the flair players and good players will still leave. Moyes did well in the pandemic. Other sides could not train properly. Moyes training is just running. Well, we were all in the same boat, weren't we? So will the flair? I said last week, I won't, I said last week or the week before, I think the whole thing went with Scamacca, the Scamacca issue. I said, why would the flair players want to stay? And I kind of like, at that time it felt awful the way Scamacca was treated, etc. And you could see a whole player. If all these players are leaving, all the flair players leave, all the players out of contract leave, all the players in their 30s leave, we'll be down to about 10 players in the squad. So I think some will stay. I want to see how he treats Scamacca between now and the end of the season, which might influence the likes of Paquetá, whether he stays, and other players, other flair players, will they stay, etc. It's going to be interesting to see how Moyes treats these players between now and the end of the season. John, Conte's rant was epic, stabbing Levy and players in the back. Boy, oh boy, he didn't hold back, did he? Good evening to you, Trudge. I hope you're well. He could do well in another league. Sorry, should have done that one first. Lanzini should have left at the start of the season. You could see him going to a Spanish league or going to the Italian league and probably doing quite well for another couple of seasons. It would absolutely suit him. Slightly slower paced, etc. But apparently he wants to go home. But I said he wants to go home at the end of his career. I still think he's got a good couple of years left in him. But will he stay at West Ham to finish his career? That I don't know. Hammerette, there you go. River Plate will be his final destination. Such a shame we didn't utilise him this season like the previous one. Well, I've got a theory, and I'm going to get to that in a minute when I talk about our April fixtures. Usual suspect. Mitrovic's going to get a big ban. According to the FA, they're weighing up exactly how long. That is in our favour, isn't it? Sharky, the injury he suffered a few years ago really set him back, unfortunately. Lanzini, I totally agree. NWO, Moyes' use of Lanzini proves his clueless. Moyes has tried to play a different game, and I think Lanzini, to be honest, had a bigger role to play. So does Fornals, but both of them seem to have been fallen out of favour. Like I said, I've got a theory about them, and I'll get to that in a minute. Adam, Stel, did you know that if we get to the semis of the Europa Conference League and Anderlecht get through, if USG Europa League get through to the semis as well, we would let them get the second leg at home? Both teams can't play on the same night. Yes, and the same thing has happened in this round in the last 8 as well, where Anderlecht had to change their legs. So get to the semis. We would then get the second leg at home. That would be great. It means I'll be able to go to the first leg. So let's hope the other team, USG, get through as well. Anderlecht. I mean, did you really honestly expect them to get through? I certainly didn't. I was really, really surprised they did. But well done to them. They played really well. They're well done to them. Gary, nothing personal, but I would have gotten rid of Lanzini last summer. I get it because people have said he's lost something for the injuries, but I like him. Another season left in him, maybe. Jack, Down should be getting more game time. Never see him have a bad game. I totally agree, but he was injured, so that's why he didn't get any game time against AEK Larnaca at the weekend, last Thursday. Sorry. So with that, let's go into. So the game against AEK Larnaca last Thursday. I mean, it was, a foregone conclusion. A 2-0 win, very uninspiring performance out in Cyprus. But we did what we had to do, out there in Cyprus. We came back with a 2-0, a clean sheet, prepared ourselves for the home game. And I guess what we saw on Thursday is what I kind of wanted to see out in Cyprus the weekend, the week before, where we didn't have to smash them, but give a commanding performance, show that we're a proper Premier League team. Now, with the 2-0 lead, it meant that David Moyes could rest a few players. Naif Agurd, Declan Rice, Said Benrahma could afford to be on the bench. And Moyes, he tinkered a little bit, didn't he? He wanted to see what it's like with Kurt Zouma and Angelo Ogbonna. Hadn't done that since last season when Ogbonna got injured. And if you remember, we had a great duet there, Ogbonna and Zouma at the back before they both got injured. Ogbonna with a serious injury that saw him out for the rest of the season. They were really, really solid. And it was actually good to see them back again to play alongside each other. And then the players that you kind of mentioned, we talked about Lanzini, given a more pivotal role in this game, alongside Soucek and Bakatar. And up front, much publicised snubbing of Scamacca sort of went out the window when he started the game, which was good. Pablo Fornals, I thought, played really, really well behind Scamacca, and Jared Bowen in support as well. So it was a good opportunity for Moyes to be able to use some of the players that haven't been seeing a lot of game time, lining up alongside players who have been getting more game time. So, for example, like I've said, Zouma and Ogbonna together, Lanzini in midfield, Scamacca having the assistance of Bowen and Fornals. And I think a lot of it really worked well. The game was in never any doubt, and we also had the luxury of being able to name 3 young players on the bench, and they all got on as well. Which, okay, and you're going to say, yeah, but it didn't matter because the game didn't matter. The game was won, etc., etc. But it was also good for David Moyes to have put on a couple of youngsters in this game. Now, look, the game was never in any doubt. And then the sending off of Gustavo Ledes just before halftime kind of sealed their fate, really, didn't it? We were already 1-0 up, but then it opened the floodgates for us in the second half. Scamacca, he got his goal, and I was really, really pleased for him. I think he was lively in the game. I think he was snappy. I think what was nice was he was a lot closer to the 18-yard box than I'd seen him for some time. He was looking around. He was, trying to get in or around the penalty area, taking pot shots, etc. The goal he scored, perseverance. He kind of all right, it went under the keeper's arms, but you can only try, can't you? And I was pleased for him to get the goal that he did. And it kind of it kind of puts to bed the whole issue about what David Moyes did with Scamacca in the Aston Villa game. I'm still angry by that. I'd still think it was wrong to get Scamacca changed, standing on the sidelines waiting to come on and not getting a game. And it seemed to suggest that David Moyes can't handle big name signings, certainly doesn't know how to handle strikers, etc. And there've been, even I've been throwing accusations at Moyes about this, about all these things about he can't handle big names, he doesn't know what to do with a striker when he signs them, etc. So it was good. All right, you're going to say the game was foregone conclusion, etc. But it was good to get him to play Scamacca from the start. Getting the goal, etc. And what I liked about Scamacca is he kind of proved a lot of critics wrong as well. Now, it's interesting. David Moyes has said, because of his, his playing data or whatever he called it, that's why he didn't play Scamacca more since his injury. And what David Moyes kind of said kind of resonated with what a lot of fans have been saying about Scamacca this season. Fans are saying he's lazy, another Hilaire, doesn't try hard enough, doesn't close players down like Antonio does, etc., etc. So even some fans have been saying kind of similar things to what David Moyes said. David Moyes put it in a different way about his playing data and so on and so forth. But what Scamacca did in the game against Larnaca kind of proved us all a little bit wrong, because he did get himself involved. He did get himself much further up the field. He did take shots, opportunities when he could, and I've said many times before, what I want my strikers to do is to be in and around the box to latch onto an opportunity. And that's what he did. And he took his chance and he scored. I hope now that he can build on that. I hope now that David Moyes will have a proper selection headache on his hands. Now, I know, Steve, I know you're going to say Antonio's not a striker, and I agree with you. But what Moyes has got is he's got different choices. He's got the choice of Scamacca. He's got the choice of Ings, who plays a different game. He's got the choice of Antonio, who can be the bulldozer up front. It's good. David Moyes has now got options, and we've got all our players back from injury. He's got massive options that he can utilise for the games coming up. And like I said earlier as well, giving the young lads a run out as well. In Divine and Barmer, his fourth senior appearance for the team. Freddie Potts, his third senior appearance in midfield. And young centre-back Levi Lang in his first ever appearance for the senior team as well. And it was fantastic to see Divine and Barmer get his goal. I mean, how happy can you be? How happy was he? This is a boy that has grown up with West Ham since, I don't know, he was at the age of 10 or something. He's been with us, and he's now living his dream. What more can you ask for one of our own to score a goal and celebrate the way he did? Fantastic for him. I'm really, really pleased for him. And I think there's many, many more to come. And I've said it before, I repeat myself again. When we were all upset about Sonny Perkins going to Leeds United, I kept saying, this is the player that's going to be a better striker than Sonny Perkins. I stick to that. I hope I'm not wrong, because I think he's got a massive future in Barmer in the senior game. And so what of the Europa Conference? I mean, the game fizzled out, 4-0 win, professional performance. We did what we had to do. We won with aplomb. We're in the last 8. This is where we wanted to get to, and it was great. And then the draw happened on Friday, and let's be honest, it favoured us, didn't it? The joint favourites, Lazio and Villarreal, got knocked out by Anderlecht and AZ Alkmaar, respectively. They were the main rivals to us before in the last 16. Now you could argue the main rivals are Nice, Alkmaar, and possibly Fiorentina, and Lech Poznan as well. Let's not forget them, because I think they're a bit of a dark horse. As for West Ham United, we know who we've got in the next round. We've got Ghent away in the last 8. And the last time we played Ghent, or the one and only time we played Ghent, what in our history, was a 2-legged first round Cup Winners' Cup tie in 1964. Our first ever venture into European football 59 years ago. We won that game 1-0 with a Roddy Boyce goal on the 23rd of September. And then in the return leg at Upton Park, we beat them. The game was 1-1 with Johnny Byrne grabbing a goal in that game. I wonder how many people might have gone to that are watching tonight, or maybe watch this show later on. Look, many people may think that Ghent, I'm really surprised, to be quite honest with you, that Ghent got through, because I'm trying to position Ghent. Where do I see Ghent as a team? Look, their season at the moment, they're in 7th place in the league. In 5th place in the league. No, start again. In 4th place in the league, Ghent. And they are better than Anderlecht, who are 8th in the league, but they're not as good as Genk, who we played last season. Now, Genk, if you remember, we beat them 1-0 away, and then we beat them 2-1 at home. And they didn't really show much, Genk. We're kind of like, no, let me start again. Genk, we played them last season in the Europa League, drew 2-2, and then we beat them 3-0. I apologise. But they didn't really show much. They weren't really, they didn't suggest to me that they were a great side. And then we played Anderlecht this season, who we beat 1-0 and 2-1 respectively. They're not a great side either. So Ghent has got to be a team where I would imagine we're going to get something from them. We should go out and be able to beat Ghent. Not saying that we don't want to underestimate them, but I think Ghent as an opponent, I think is going to be a team that we should easily get by. And Ghent is one of the teams that we're playing in our games in April, which is going to be a massive, massive month for us. And this is kind of what I started talking about earlier on. It's going to be a big, big month for West Ham United. We've got 9 games in total. Said April is going to be a massive month for us, where we've got quite a number of games coming up, mostly at home. Southampton to start off with, and then followed up by Newcastle a few days later. Then we're away to Fulham, and then we got Ghent in the Europa Conference, and then we got Arsenal to finish that first part of April. Now we look at those games, and I just wonder, Southampton, we've got to win it. Newcastle, I don't think there's much. Well, I'm not saying flippantly there's not much to worry about, but we gave them a really good performance away from home. So there's nothing to fear by playing them at home. Then we got Fulham. Now, possibly Fulham, a tricky team. They're doing really, really well this season. But I think, again, I think Fulham, we can get a result from them. Then Ghent, and then Arsenal. Arsenal, when I look at those fixtures, those first 5 of the month, I think Arsenal is going to be the biggest problem for us. We get to that point. So we need a couple of points. I would love to say that we will get at least, I think, 7 points from those 3 Premier League games. Beat Southampton, beat Fulham, get a draw against Newcastle, and I think we'd have done really well. And then when it comes to the second half of the April, Ghent again, we should get through that. Then we've got Bournemouth away from home, a team that's fighting for survival. But I seriously think that we can go away and get a result against Bournemouth. Liverpool at home, again, nothing to fear, but Liverpool could be another tricky one. And then we're away to Crystal Palace. So when we look at those games, I think it's going to be make or break, because if we can't beat Southampton, if we can't beat Fulham, and get at least a point from Newcastle, that could spell a lot of trouble. So I'm gonna predict, like, Southampton, Newcastle, and Fulham. I think we've got 7 points there. I think we go to Bournemouth, even if we get a point, but we should be aiming for 3. But even if we get a point and then possibly get 3 points off Crystal Palace, 7 points, 10, 11 points in April will set us up quite nicely. If we get 10 or 11 points, then I think we will survive. Anything less than 10 points, I think then we're going to have a massive, massive problem. Now, I hope you can hear me, and I hope you can see me. Let me go down to the bottom to see if it's got worse. Can you let me know if you can actually see and hear me properly, because I've got no indication that my Wi-Fi is down. So please let me know. People are saying it's got worse. Not been a good night, has it? So I'm going to scroll up and see what you guys say. Sharky, Bowen's second goal was quality. Mbama getting on the score sheet was good to see. Adam, still, how do you see the future of the club if we stay up? Another 6 or 7 players leaving, another squad shake-up, potential new owners, manager. I hope Sullivan sells and leaves in the summer. Okay, let's address those. 6 or 7 players leaving? Quite possibly. Because as I said earlier, we've got a lot of players at the end of their contracts. We've got a lot of players who are... We've got a lot of players at the end of their contracts, and we've got a lot of players who are going to be in their mid-30s leaving. Matt, Moyes got to drop this chip on his shoulder and play the players that are going to get out of this crap. Just my opinion. I totally agree. Steve, Scamacca also didn't seem that pissed off in his interview after the game. Agreed. Ings and Scamacca for Scamacca, and have Mike as backup as a sub if needed. Yeah, I agree. I think he'd be much better, Antonio, as a backup player. I think I've dropped again, haven't I? Is it okay? Oh, good grief. What a night. This is terrible. What an awful night. So I'm really sorry about that. What else have we got? I'm going to miss out a few because I'm completely frazzled. Black Country. Moyes won't use all his options. That's where he goes wrong. He's an old manager. Just let him go and kick the can for it. Someone asked me, how do I see the rest of it? If I can go back to that, here we go. Adam, how do I see? So I answered that. I think another 6 or 7 players leaving. I totally agree with that. Another squad shake-up is going to have to happen. But I said last week, if we lose 6 or 7 players, I don't think Moyes is going to replace like for like. To be quite honest with you, if we lose 6 or 7 players, Moyes might only want to bring in about 4. Because, as you know, he prefers a smaller squad. So, ironically, I don't actually think he's going to replace like for like. New owners and manager? No new owners. Sullivan ain't going. And I know there's all this speculation, especially now that Jacqueline Gold has died as well. But as I said in part 1 of the show, I don't think the ownership's going to change. Manager? Quite possibly. I think of those things, the manager will probably change, even if we stay up. I think Moyes will go at the end of the season. Moyes. I'm having a nightmare tonight. I know I am. Ray, Lanzini will go to River Plate and Kera go to River Island. Black Country. Moyes won't use all his options. That's where he goes wrong. He's an old manager, so let's let him go. Yeah, well, he's going to be here till the end of the season. Moyes is cautious. Moyes is cautious. He known to walk in the park wearing a motorbike crash helmet. Jack breaking up another session with the. It's been a nightmare. I do not know what's happened tonight with my Wi-Fi. I really, really don't know. And no, it's not your Wi-Fi. It's mine. Moyes. Moyes making bad karma with his defensive tactics. He might reincarnate as a hedgehog. Martin, 9 games in April is a big, big ask. But this is where I think, I said earlier on, this is where I think David Moyes is going to use his squad much better. He's got all his players back now from injury. He's got no excuses now. He's got 25 players that he can use in the squad. And I think he's going to have no choice. He's going to be using the likes of Lanzini more. He's going to be using the likes of Fornals more. You're going to see regular squad rotation because we've got a game every 3 or 4 days now. We've got a game on a Sunday, a game on a Thursday, back to Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday. It's going to be consistent now throughout the whole of April. So he's got to use his squad. And that's my theory, that now he's got he's got Fornals playing a little bit again. He's got the likes of Lanzini playing a little bit again as well, and he's going to need these players. Even though they've not played for the first part of the season, I think you're going to see an awful lot more of those players. Downs, Lanzini, as well as Fornals. He's got the 3 strikers, 2 strikers and Antonio. He's going to have to use all that squad now. He's going to have to rotate. He's going to have to keep it fresh. He's going to have to continuously do that. And this is the time where he's got to do that. And ironically, I wonder, 9 games is a big ask in April. If you ask players, and they've been asked this in the past, and players of previous years have said it as well, they'd much rather play than train. Now they've got a game every 3 or 4 days, no choice but to play. You're going to see squad rotation. Moyes is going to have no choice. He won't be able to bang out the same 11 game after game after game. He's going to have to mix it up. He's going to have to freshen it up. And that might be a blessing in disguise. Having the squad that we've got might finally come into its own. April is a big, big month. I said earlier on about what I thought we were going to get out of it. And like I said, I think Southampton, I think we will win against Southampton. Nothing to fear against Newcastle. We should go out and be able to beat Fulham. The big test is going to be Arsenal down at the bottom halfway through April. And then the second half of April, like I said again, by the time we get to Genk the second time round, that should have been won. I think we can go away. We should be able to go away and get a result against Bournemouth. Nothing to fear against Liverpool, but that might be the only... Those are the two tricky ties, aren't they? Arsenal and Liverpool in that 9-game run. Crystal Palace, I think we can go out and get a result there. But Moyes is going to have to utilise his squad properly. He's going to have to use every single player he's got. You know, and even if Fabianski comes back, they'll be rotated. You'll have Fabianski, you'll have Areola, you know, playing regularly. You'll have all your defenders playing regularly. You have every single player is going to be in demand. And you know, the only thing is the international break, and hoping we don't get any injuries during the international break, because that's the really, really big concern. Right. Just hope, Hammerette, that they all come back from the refreshed, uninjured, and raring to fight. Absolutely. I do not know what's happened to my Wi-Fi tonight, but I'm mightily peed off. Hassan, bro, if we win Conference League but get relegated next season, do you think getting promoted is important or doing well in Europa League? If we get relegated, it's important to come back up, without a shadow of a doubt. But that's going to be the other interesting thing, is if we get relegated and we are in Europe next season, who are we going to keep from the current crop of players to want to play in the Championship? Paquetá will go, Scamacca will go, we know Declan's going, other players, etc. We may not have the actual quality of squad to be able to compete in the Europa League. That's the problem. So good question. But the important thing will absolutely have to be getting back into the Premier League. Jack, I think Emerson is getting better and better. I totally agree. It's taken a while for some of these players to finally, you know, fit in and feel comfortable, etc. But we're seeing some players playing really well. I like Paquetá. I know a lot of fans don't, but I like Paquetá. I like Emerson. He's grown on me. He's improved. Downs, as someone said, every time he plays, he never lets you down. He's another decent player. I think Scamacca will come good. I think there's more goals to come from Scamacca. There's a number of our new players. Agurd has been good. And ironically, Agurd has gone a little bit off the boil in the last few games, but he'll be back refreshed, etc. So I'm really, really... we've got a really good squad. Moyes is now going to have absolutely no choice in the April to utilise that squad to its fullest. He cannot rely on his favourites to play every single game. You will see Antonio play one game, and then maybe Scamacca starting another, and then maybe Ings starting a different game. You will see players, you know, mix and matching alongside Declan, etc., etc. You'll even see Souček dropping to the bench every now and again. Moyes is going to have no choice. Moyes is going to have to utilise that squad properly. Hammer, I don't know why anyone would want to subscribe after tonight, but if you have yet to subscribe, then please do so. Thank you. Will, unfortunately, I think Moyes will just use Scamacca against Ghent unless he has a great performance. I don't think we'll see much of him. I actually do think we will, to be quite honest with you. I think they've got over their little spat, and I think you will see. You may not necessarily see Scamacca starting that many games, but I think you will see him playing more. Peter, we have to win those 3 games, imperative. The games against, I guess you're saying the ones against, let's go back to them, Southampton, Newcastle and Fulham, or Southampton, Fulham and what? Bournemouth at least. I think we got at least 4 games that we should be able to win in the league in the month of April. Chris, all these games, squad rotation, Moyes might even be forced to change the way he plays every now and then. A blessing in disguise. Exactly that, Chris. I think Moyes is going to be pushed into a corner to have to change the tactics, to have to regularly change the team, keep it fresh. He doesn't have the same excuse as last season. Remember last season when we ran out of steam and he said the squad was too small, ran out of steam, etc. He doesn't have that excuse now. He's got 24, 25 players, 23 of them outfield, 22 of them outfield. He's got enough players in his in the squad to be able to make it regular. Sort of changing and keep it fresh as well. Black Country, I pressed the like. It's been funny, mate. I've had a mare. I've had an absolute nightmare tonight. So thank you for sticking with me. Funky T. I think we played better when we had 3 games. This is it. Regular football. Like I said earlier, players of the old days used to say we didn't like training. We prefer to play. These players now, they're going to play. They're going to continue to play regular football throughout the whole of April. It's going to be challenging, but we've got the squad to do it. Billy Bob, I've cleaned my classes 3 times watching the stream. Steve, Black Country, great show. Oh, I'm glad I made you all laugh. John, Emerson has been called up. Yes, we've done that one, John. We did that about in part 1 of the show. Steve, we have to get Stell to tell the dog. No, come on. Adam, how do you see the future of Flynn Downs getting on? He's got a great future. I think he's been the most surprising signing next to a good. I totally agree. I think he's been fantastic. I think he's got a great future. You know, I don't know what we're going to do when Declan Rice leaves, you know, but Flynn Downs for me has been, every time he's played, he's not put a foot wrong. I think he's been superb. He's been fantastic. For a young player, such confidence and looking assured in the Premier League when he's been given his chance, or any chance he's been given. I think he's looked fantastic. Mark, I think Moyes will look, I think Moyes will look to field his strongest team in the first leg. I agree. But if we can win it comfortably, he could play some more of the academy players in the second leg. Absolutely agree. Has anyone seen Stella Lanzini in the same room? I'm taller than him. Newcastle. Why not, Pete? I totally agree. We gave them a really good game away at their place. There's no reason why those first 3 games of April. No, go on. You're going to laugh, but all right. Let me extend this. There's no reason why those first 4 games of April we can't walk away with a win from each one. Southampton, Newcastle, Fulham, and Ghent. Why not? Wouldn't that be a fantastic start to our April when we return from international football? And then, you know, going in, you know, imagine getting 4 wins on the trot. Bloody hell. We haven't even done 2 wins on the trot this season, have we? Or maybe we have, maybe once or twice. But imagine doing that and then facing Arsenal at home, having that. I mean, we'll be really up for it, wouldn't we? Yeah, I agree, Pete. There's no reason why we can't beat Newcastle. Epic. We won't have the quality to win promotion if we go down. Well, this is the thing. It'll be a completely different team. A completely different team if we go down. We will have to get rid of more than half the squad. And then what do we do then? You know, the sort of players we might bring in. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. If we did go down, I don't think we'd come back up straight away. Ray, I'm worried about possible injuries during the international break. We always are. Fingers crossed for their safe return. Totally agree with you. Black Country. Steve Tiley, it could be both. What did Steve Tiley say? Black Country, I reckon. I'm talking about the doll. He might be greedy. Who knows? I have 2 dolls. I'm glad the dolls are more interesting than the show. Well, the show keeps falling down. Stel, the chat wished to know if you were to have a doll, would she be called? What would she be called? I'm not telling you. Stop joining in, Hammerette. Funky T. I've always thought since last January that this season might be a write-off due to so many players coming in. On paper, we have a really good squad. Next, hopefully, we'll be next season, firing on all cylinders. When we get through this season, get through the crap. Imagine all these players having had a season under their belts in the Premier League together, and then what? You know, could be an interesting season next season. She's certainly not called Arthur. Heads of Refs Association has come out and said Mitrovic should be banned for longer than Cantona was. It really wasn't that bad. If it was a bit of a push, it was wrong, but wasn't. I'm really surprised, you know, very surprised. Steve, great laugh tonight. Being a West Ham fan, we need it. Thank you very much. Adam, when the draw was made, I honestly did not think that there could have been a better route to the final. Avoiding Nice and Fiorentina is huge. Totally agree. AZ worry me. They worry me too. They've been very impressive. I agree. They have been very impressive. But it couldn't have been much better, could it really, the draw that we got? I mean, imagine this. We've got a route. I don't want to. Oh, we've got a route to the final. We really have, you know, because if we do win against Ghent, and we should, you know, if we draw Anderlecht, nothing there to be worried about. And AZ, I think they're a bit of a dark horse, but I think we can beat them as well. Peter Mitrovic is also abused him, and the 4th official. There you go. Right, people, it's been traumatic. I don't know how many times the bloody link has gone down. I do apologise. if you're watching this, must be wondering what the hell's going on. How am I going to I'm going to try and go in and edit it to take out all the bad bits. That means a couple of hours. Who's our next game, Lyle? It's Southampton at home on the 2nd of April. So thank you for sticking with me, those who have done. Have we ever had 3 wins in a row? We have. Don't ask me when, but we have. Thank you for sticking with me. Really appreciate it. I don't know what's happened. So thank you for sticking with me, coming back for the second part, etc. Really appreciate it. I will be back once I find out what the bloody Wi-Fi is up to. But I will be back. Thank you for joining me. There will be a couple of other shows. I've written a script about the Europa Conference and a little bit more detail about the teams that we're going to be facing, etc. So look out for that. Really appreciated. I'll be keeping you up to date with our players in international duty. So watch out for that as well. Have a great week. See you very soon. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you for sticking with me. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button and the bell notification and all that stuff. And I'll see you all very soon, so long as Wi-Fi allows me to.